So good afternoon. I almost said good morning. We usually start in the morning these weather briefings. Um, but lately we figured out that it's maybe even easier for presenters to gather materials, and some materials come later during the day. So if we would have updated fields or satellite images, it's better maybe to do it in the afternoon. So welcome to this ePort weather briefing, July 2015 summer edition. And today we have three presenters. The main presenter is Natasha Strelec-Machovic. She will do the overview of the current weather over Europe. After her, I will tell something about the news in the satellite world, and for sweet ending, we will have Edwin Tema from South African Weather Service. He will introduce us to weather in the southern hemisphere. So we can start if all are ready. Natasha, you can begin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will start with this image today, nicely showing a big high over most of the central and southern Europe here, and low, which is developing over the Atlantic, but will not affect most of the Europe in the next 2 days. It will bring some weather, some bad weather to British Isles. Some rain is expected here, especially in Ireland today and also tomorrow, and then tomorrow some precipitation here in Scandinavia. Most of Europe, however, will remain dry under the conditions that we have today, the influence of the high and the upper level trough, which brings warm, and as I saw from the comments from most of you, the most important weather component is the heat, which is very prominent all over southern and central and also western Europe. If you would be so kind, I would like you to just to make a star of where you are coming from, so to be more let's say, focused on the weather in the area which you're interested in. Oh, sorry, I cleared your stars. Please. I guess from the names I see here, most of you come from yeah, okay. That's what I guessed, more or less. So actually, all of you come from the area which is affected by this heat wave. So this is probably the most, except from Finland, um, which will get some warm in the next days also, but not as warm as it is in the central and South Europe. So the most important, I would say, weather element in the next days is the heat. However, today we had the discussion in the weather room, as we also had in the days before, about the instabilities. What is usually, especially in the area close to the Mediterranean, but also in the Central Europe, when we have this situation with the um, let's say a high in the lower levels and also on the connected to the ridge in the upper levels, but here more in the, I would say, in the rear side of the ridge, which is in the most of the Western Europe now the situation. In this cases, we often do get, because of the heat, because of very high temperatures, we do get some convection. Not a lot, not widespread, but it is very hard to tell where the convection will develop. In this case, we do have some help from the satellite indicators, from the indicators developed from the satellite images. And here I show you the Global Instability Index from MPEF. And what you can see here is actually that the area which, according to the data which is combined from the model and the satellite observation, shows that the most, I would say, areas that could be affected are here over Italy, Corsica, Sardinia, so the areas over the central Mediterranean, also some indication here over south of Spain. If you look more closely to the areas of Italy and alpine area, then the total precipitable water, which is here shown from the nowcasting SAF products, shows you that you would have mostly, let's say, most conditions for the convection development, for convective development when humidity is concerned. You would have here in the alpine area, also again here over Corsica, Sardinia. There are some indications here also in Central Europe. So these are the areas where you would expect that there could be some conditions for convective development. When we go further on with other indices, again also calculated from the satellite data, here we have lifted index, which is not very, I would say the values are not very high here, but again maxima are found over central Italy, over alpine area, and also here some over Central Europe. Here again, Corsica, Sardinia, some values can be found. So these are the areas where we could expect some of, I would say, in these conditions, isolated convection to develop, not some organized or some very serious ones, but still some storms could develop in this area. The highest values are found from K index, also again nowcasting SAF. Here I have to tell you that this products are developed or calculated so that also the microphysics is taken into account. So this kind of product you would be having only during daytime. These are the images from 6 UTC, so the products are from 6 UTC, nicely showing again Central Italy and alpine area, and here some over Croatia, Slovenia. Possibilities of so the conditions for, I would say, stability conditions for convective development. Just to show you that these products were useful today, so they could be used early in the morning to provide the nowcast for convective development. I'm showing you now the image from 11 UTC, so only 5 hours later. And you can see now that convection does develop here over central Italy and starts to develop here over the alpine area. So although we have, I would say, quasi-stable situation with a high in the lower layers and the ridge, upper level ridge, with a lot of warm air advancing towards this area, we still had mostly due to orographic influence here over the alpine area and the central Italy. We have some cells, some very nice cells developing. So this is not much is to be said about the weather in Central Europe, except for the heat, which everybody is aware of. What we can say about it is that the ridge will remain in place for the next few days. So at 800 hectopascal, you can see that the values are quite high. These values at 850 hectopascal reach even up to 28 degrees here in Spain, in central Spain. So these areas will be having extremely high values of temperature also in the next days. This is the 6 UTC today image, and this is the forecast for tomorrow, 12 UTC. You can see that it gets a little bit lower, so the temperature over Spain at 850 is getting a little bit lower, but the areas still remain the same. So this is this area of central Mediterranean and Central Europe, and especially Spain as the areas where the highest values of temperature can be expected. And if we go one day further, you can see that the heat wave still stays over the same area, so we can expect in the next 2 days, the maximum of this heat wave, especially here in the area of um, Italy, Croatia, and southeastern Europe, where we expect the heat wave to be the strongest until Sunday, with the highest temperature values on Saturday and Sunday. What do we have uh, in because of that also for tomorrow? Similar as for today, as you can see, most of the European National Meteorological Services issued warnings for temperature. Some of them even issued red warnings. Here, Switzerland, Croatia, Hungary, red warnings for temperature, for high temperature because of the heat wave expected. And you can see orange and red values are found all over the area, which is marked by highest values of 850 hectopascal temperature. What can we expect in the next period? Um, According to the ECMWF monthly forecasts, in the week which ends on the this one is up to 19th of July, so the week that ends by this Sunday, we see that the anomaly of temperature in this week is between 3 and 6 degrees in this area, with the probability for this anomaly to be to really happen is above 90%. So it is pretty sure that this kind of anomaly, 3 to 6 degrees, will occur until the end of this week in this area. But this is not the end, since for the next week we again have the anomaly, which is between 1 and 6 degrees, 1 to 3 degrees in the area of most of the Western and Central Europe and Central Mediterranean. And here again some areas where the anomaly will be between 3 and 6 degrees. And again, quite high probability that this will really occur. So if you plan a holiday, next week is really something that you can count on. It will be warm, and if you go to Italy or Croatian coast, you will have some quite nice weather also next week. Of course, if you like the heat. If you don't like the heat, then I would say your choice would be somewhere here. If you like a more colder weather, please proceed to Scandinavia, or even to the British Isles. They would be having some rain and cold weather coming from the Atlantic all the next week. So this is all for me. Since it's very warm here, I will have to go to switch on my climate. Please, even if you can follow on, or if you have some questions or comments, please.
Okay, Natasha, thank you. Good luck with air conditioning. Um, Johan has one question or comment, Rosa as well. So go ahead. You can, or this was only applause, probably. Okay. If you have any question, please raise your hand or just speak
Yes,
up.
I have one question. Can you hear me? How high will the temperature be in Croatia in the next days? What is the maximum that you foresee? Thank you.
We expect up to 38 degrees. This was what we could get up to 40, but it will be isolated values. But let's say a lot of most of the country will be above 35 at Saturday, up to 38, maybe some places up to 40.
Good. I'm looking at the
Did you hear me?
picture. Yeah, yes. We got you, and you have green tick from Johan. So I guess it was right answer. Rosa is saying I actually have no question. The heat wave problem is about the temperature minimum. Is it possible to see that anywhere? Can you say something about that, Natasha? Can you see the question in the text chat? Can you hear me? Anybody?
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you, Ivan. Yes, sorry. The heat wave problem is, yes, you're right. But this is something that you can see from the minimum temperatures. Unfortunately, this temperature anomaly shows a 2-meter temperature anomaly. I think this is more concentrated on the average day temperature. So this also includes the minimum temperature, but to have it separately, minimum and maximum temperature, I think you have to look at the forecast, the ECMWF forecast, separately for minimum and maximum temperature, and compare these values with the average values that you get. What we are having, for example, is that we will have above 25 degrees night temperatures all along the Adriatic in the next day.
Okay, thank you again for explanation, Natasha. Uh, yeah, Jochen is writing. Germany was over 40 some days ago. I can tell you it was very, very hot and dry, and with high minimum temperatures as well. Um, okay, good. I think we can move on. If you still have a question by the end, maybe you can raise a hand again or write to a text chat.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity, Evan. I'm going to be speaking about the weather conditions in the southern hemisphere. I'm from South Africa, Pretoria, and I work for the South African Weather Services. So I'm just going to speak about the weather of today and the next 2 days. There's interesting weather expected over the southern parts of South Africa. My first slide, I'm showing you Emma's image overlaid with um, 500 pressure field, and then it shows a trough over the southwestern parts of South, more over the west coast of South Africa. You can nicely see the PV anomaly over, yes, over the western or the southwestern parts. Of South Africa, there is also a low pressure system, hence the development there. And then moving to the second slide, I have in there the IR image overlaid with mean sea level pressure and isotherms. In this image, just want to show you what's happening. The lower pressures, you can see there's a high Atlantic high to west of South Africa, and then there's a trough just to the southeast of South Africa. Otherwise, not much happening over the tropics. And then there is a jet stream that's going over the southern parts of the country, as you can see there. And then over the cold front as well, there is a jet that goes through there. Then on my third slide, I'm showing you the shipping chart that was drawn this morning by the South African Weather Service, which just shows what's happening on the ground, what's observed. As you can see, there is a low to the southeast and a coastal low moving over the east coast, and then a cold front approaching, and then that high more inland, not really raging much over the west. And then there's a trough, a weak trough over the tropics. And then moving further, I've used GFS model to see the progression of this upper trough. This is the conditions today. It's over the west or southwest of the southern parts of southern Africa. Then by tomorrow, it looks like it's gonna cut off and then be situated just southeast of Lesotho, just over that area there. And then by the third day, on Saturday, it moves away rapidly to the southeast. And then another trough develops, but it's a mini trough develops over the southwest of the country. Chances of rainfall, not really much, I'll say, expected from this system, fast moving system. For today, as we saw, the trough is situated over the west of the country, and then there's already signs of development. There's a trough over the southeastern parts, so there's already developments over southeastern parts of the country. With that jet going through that area, it's going to enhance the chance of much bigger developments later in the afternoon, and then maybe a chance of snowfalls. Already there is reports of light snowfalls over mountains in Lesotho. I'm seeing there's a chance of more snowfalls overnight into tomorrow as that upper system approaches. I'm going to show you a slide later on where it shows the thickness decreasing overnight into tomorrow. And then this is tomorrow as that cold front is approaching the southwestern coast. The strong northwesterly is ahead of it. There's a chance of heavy rain over the southwestern tip. It's more the Cape Town area for tomorrow. So ahead of the front and during the front, there's a nice chance of showers there. I don't know if they've issued any warning. The last time I checked, they didn't issue any alert for any possible heavy rain there. The only alert that I saw from the South African Weather Service was for maybe disruptive snow for tomorrow over areas around Lesotho. And then for Saturday, that cold front, this shows the precipitable water this is for Friday and into Saturday, showing that there is some significant values going into that southwestern tip of South Africa. So they might have some significant falls there. And then moving into the third day, which is Saturday, that cold front brushes the southern parts of the country. So we're expecting showers over mostly the southern parts, still dry over most of the rain we're expecting it more along the coast and adjacent interior of the south and southwestern coast of South Africa. And then that first upper trough is gone. No more rain over Lesotho area, so not much expected there. And then the thickness for today is showing a cold pool, lower values of thickness over this area. That's where the upper system is situated today. And then moving to tomorrow, see, it's gonna move to, although it weakens a bit, it moves to the central or going more southeastern parts of the country. So there is chance of snow. They're going for disruptive snow. I checked the moisture first, although I didn't have a chance to put it in to show you here. But I don't think we're gonna have disruptive snow. Maybe a chance of snowfalls, light snowfalls, but not really disruptive. I have here a snow forecast from a website in South Africa. They're just using general models to predict. This is the accumulation of snow for the next 2 days. That's today and tomorrow. So it's showing maybe big size snow over Lesotho. As you can see, they're going up to 10 centimeters. So mostly over Lesotho. And then for South Africa, I think only over these mountains and then going into Lesotho. But over this area here, I don't think there's going to be much because there's not much moisture. Maybe very cold conditions expected. And then my last slide is the latest conditions. There is the day natural image of 09 UTC, which shows it's showing already there is some developments over Lesotho and around, and there was a report of light snow. It's more over the southern Lesotho, and then over the west coast here, we see that the region high with the upper system situated to the west there. There's already some clouds starting to move in from the west. And then there is the cold front that is expected by tomorrow evening. And then there we have those developments that started early this morning from the trough which is sitting over this area here. And then that's it from me. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask.
So I will present you shortly what I wanted to say, and this is about the new geostationary satellite era started with the HIMAWARI 8. As you all know, this satellite was launched actually last year in November, and but the commission stage lasted for some time. And finally, from this month, 7th of July, it went operational, so uh, we can all take the benefits of it. Of course, if we have approach to the data of this satellite. Okay, moving to next slide. The changing of slide goes a bit slower today, as I said, because of the images. So this is some of the first, if not the first image from HIMAWARI, and if you can see, it looks quite natural. The appearance of the full disk view. This is because, okay, somebody put the Australia mark, and thank you for that. This is because the new generation of instruments on board satellites will have many channels in the solar visible range, namely 04, 05, 06, and 08 channels with HIMAWARI, and that gives you the opportunity to do this true color RGB, and we can now see the Earth as similarly as it would appear to people or somebody else watching from 36,000 kilometers above the Earth. Okay, we can now move to the next slide, and my next slide is a question. So as I said, new era is coming, and that means that this is not the only satellite that is going to be launched with a similar characteristics. This satellite has 16 channels, and there will be series of other satellites launched in the incoming years, in next 4 years, announced by different satellite agencies. And for now, what do you think? Do you have any idea how many agencies announced the launch of the new generation of the satellite? So you can put the star, you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 agencies, or maybe even more. Do you have any idea? Please put a star over the number you think there is. Okay, I see 3, 4, 5. Okay, one makes no sense because it's already announced. So I have 1 vote for 3, 3 votes for 4, more. Votes for 4. Only 2 for 5. None for 6. Okay. So I think the next one that will be launched is GOES-ARD. GOES-ARD with its ABI instrument, I guess. And after that, China announced, South Korea, and of course EUMETSAT. So that in total makes 5 agencies that, together with Japanese agencies, that will launch similar instrument in the next 4 years. GOES-ARD with ABI in March 2016. Thank you for this precise information. Okay, HIMAWARI 8, some details. So the launch was 7 October 2014, operational since 7 July. So 9 months of preparation. Okay, it's significant number of months. Position, of course, in the eastern, over the eastern, well, the Western Pacific or the eastern um, Asia. 0, of course, equator, and 140 east. Instruments is called, acronym is AHI, which stands for Advanced HIMAWARI instrument, I guess. It's not really some special name. Number of channels, as I said, 16. Nominal space resolution is 1 kilometer and 2 kilometer, 1 kilometer for the solar regions, solar channels, especially visible channels, and 2 kilometers for infrared channels, with the exception of 2.5 kilometer resolution of 0.6 channel. And nominal temporal resolution is 10 minutes, but I will tell you more about the details later. So the next slide shows these particular channels. So the new one is 0.6, 0.5. These are ones we don't have, for example, with our severe instrument over Europe. Then 0.6 we have already with second generation, 0.8 as well, 1.6 as well. New one is also 2.2, 3.9 we are well introduced to this channel. 6.2, it would be similar to our 6.2 of Severi. 7.9, this is somehow new. 7.3, well known. 8.6, 9.6, similar as 8.7, 9.7 of Severi. 10.35, this is a bit further away from 10.8 with that we have from Severi, and of course another infrared window channel 11.2, 12.3, and 13.3. Yeah, this is new one. I guess Jochen is typing this one. Okay, thank you for this comment. Just some more details. This is maybe not so visible, but it gives you idea of the resolution, if nothing else, of all these channels. So as I said, for a visible range from 0.4 to 0.8, if you consider it still visible, it's 1 kilometer and even 0.5 kilometer for 0.6. Difference between this is the first difference between the, for example, FCI instrument on board MTG European new generation satellite is that our satellite will have 1 kilometer resolution in solar bands in the near infrared region. So these would be, oh, I'm sorry, these channels would be 1 kilometer then. And of course, similar as with other instruments on instruments on board new satellites, resolution is 2 kilometers for the infrared channels. So I just pointed out here the difference between the AHI instrument and the FCI instrument that will come on board the MTGI satellite 2019 or 20, even more probable. So the difference is that Japanese instrument doesn't have 0.9 channel, which is low level water vapor probably detection, and 1.3 high level cirrus. Uh, Japanese instrument doesn't have these, but it does have some additional channels in water vapor absorption slot and in the atmospheric water vapor window around 11 microns. So this is the maybe the biggest difference between two of the instruments. Okay, and how this instrument works? What is the principle of scanning? Of course, it scans the whole disk in 10 minutes. This will be also for the most of the new instruments on board different satellites. Um, the difference maybe will be that there are special regions of scanning. For example, Japanese region, um, which is enclosed in two different windows, and this area will be scanned by 2.5-minute repeat cycle, if I'm not wrong. And also, additional to that, there is a region called movable target region that can be moved around the view disk, the whole disk view of the instrument. And this region in particular has also the so we call it here super rapid scan repeat cycle of 2.5 minutes. So we'll try to see this example later. Uh, so this is the view of with the landmarks. So you can see where is actually Australia and the eastern Asia, and also you can see Hawaii's are also visible. So there will be considerable overlap with the GOES-R satellite if it will go straight to the west. I don't know if this is already decided within the American setup. Um, so this is the idea how this looks like, and just an example from today. I was happy to have approach to data, real-time data from HIMAWARI today here at EUMETSAT, and what I did, I did a what this is for UTC image in the channel 0.86. And I have actually the question. This is the southernmost island of Japan, as you can see it here. This is approximately the region. And I would like to ask, I was playing a bit with the resolution, visualizing it in Makaida's tool. So I modulated the resolution. So what do you think, what would be resolution of this image? Do you have any feeling? If you looked at the satellite images a lot, you would have some feeling. Maybe you can type to a text chat or write, okay, 1 kilometer. Okay, you have drawing tools as well. You can write on the screen. So I have one answer, 1 kilometer. I will wait, however, for some moments to see your response. This is rather difficult question, so I just want to see if you have any idea. I know it's hard to guess. 3, okay, 1, 3, 10 kilometer, 500 meters, Ivona, good, 1.5. Okay, I'm happy with different answers. Um, uh, I think I will reveal it now. It's actually 3 kilometer resolution. I tried to simulate the view of Seviri, as you could imagine, how it would be if Seviri was standing in the place of Himawari and scanning with 0.8 channel. So this is second generation, so to say, of satellites, and new generation with 1 kilometer resolution then would look like this. So you can see many different smaller structures are visible, especially these white parts, the edges of these are, I would say, mid-level clouds. Here you have, probably you guessed it or not, this is the tropical cyclone that is actual in this region already for some days. I don't know if I can pronounce it. It's Nanka or something like this. This would be the center of the hurricane. So once again, I just give you the comparison between these two views. So you can see it's considerable improvement with the solar channels. With infrared channels, it will be improvement from 3 to 2 kilometers as well. Good improvement, but especially with 3 times with the visible channels, that is very nice to see. For the end, I will leave you with the loop that was prepared by Jochen Kerkman here at EUMeTrain. Actually, I think it follows the movement of this typhoon I was mentioning, uh, Nanka, and it's these are, so to say, real-time images from today. You will see it's already getting dark in Japan, or it is now dark, and Johan managed to capture 1 hour loop of actually 2.5 um, minute repeat cycle of this hurricane. Oh, well, they call it typhoon or tropical cyclone um, at the moment. So you can see the nice structures. This is 0.6 channel. If you can see it, can you give me yes if you can already see it? The connection is a bit slow today with server, so probably okay, most of you can still see it. I will leave it there. It will load eventually. So you can see the fine structures over the eye of the hurricane. I won't go into details. We already spent a lot of time. But this is, if you can guess, 0.5 kilometer resolution, which gives you real insight into all the dynamics of the satellite, especially when you have a sunset and you have shades over top of the convective parts. That's really informative for meteorologists. I can guide you to go to a Comet modules. I think there is dedicated module also for HIMAWARI instruments, so you can, and also for a new ABI instrument for on board GOES-R. So you can see much more details and examples there already. I will thank you all, especially presenters, and see you for the next weather briefing in August.